So exactly who is President Bashar al-Assad? His father was Syrian President Hafez Assad. Bashar al-Assad trained in medicine in Britain. In 1994, he was called back to Syria when his brother, the heir apparent, died in a car crash. Al-Assad was elected president in 2000 after his dad died of a heart attack. He was re-elected in 2007 and ran unopposed. And his relationship with the U.S. it started getting more rocky in 2011. And that's when President Obama criticized al-Assad for standing in the way of democracy. Just a few months after that, both the U.S. and the European Union called for al-Assad to step down. Were chemical weapons used in the recent Syria attack? That's what we're all wondering. Well, right now we don't have actual proof, but the UN is on its way back with its answer to that. Now, here are 5 things in the meantime that you need to know about chemical weapons from the group Human Rights First website. The use of chemical weapons is a war crime. It's prohibited by the Geneva Gas Protocol and by the International Criminal Court. Syria is a party to the Geneva Protocol, but not the ICC. And according to international law, it's not just a war crime, but any use is also a violation of criminal law. If it is a widespread attack against civilians, which is alleged in Syria, it is as a crime against humanity, and it can also be considered genocide. But because Syria is not party to the International Criminal Court, the United Nations Security Council would have to authorize the ICC to pursue war crimes charges. You following me? Yeah, Syria is a party to the Geneva Conventions and is obligated to follow those rules. Joining me now is Gabor Rona from humanrightsfirst.org to explain all this and talk about it a little bit more. How do we enforce these kinds of laws exactly?
The International Criminal Court is the best option for enforcing international criminal law. And as you noted, Syria is not a party to the treaty that establishes the International Criminal Court, but it could still be the source of prosecutions. The Security Council would have to authorize an investigation by the International Criminal Court, and then the court could prosecute, take into custody, and hold criminal trials, convictions if the evidence warrants it, and put in prison for life anyone who's held responsible for these attacks.
Yeah, and we're talking about hundreds of people allegedly killed by chemical weapons in Syria here. And if you've seen that, there's video of the alleged aftermath from it at CNN.com. It's just horrific to watch. If we assume though that chemical weapons have been used, what response would your group like to see?
We would like to see the United States, which is the most critical country in respect of establishing and showing respect for human rights around the world, take a more broad, a more considered approach about the situation in Syria. Instead of focusing on just whether or not the United States should or shouldn't attack, the U.S. should have a broader policy involving diplomacy, involving economic sanctions. You know, for example, that the U.S. buys helicopters for Afghanistan from a Russian company that is right now supplying Assad with military hardware. This company is called Robosan Export. It is outrageous that the United States is doing military business with companies that are supporting the Assad regime. So there's a lot more that the U.S. can be thinking about, can be doing, besides just talking about military intervention.
Okay, so you're for more diplomacy. Gabor Rona from humanrightsfirst.org. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.